Today we'll be taking a look at the Air Lift LoadLifter 5000 air helper springs for the rear axle. Having air springs in your vehicle is going to greatly improve the overall ride quality whenever you're carrying a heavy load. Basically, these are going to bring your factory ride height back to stock whenever you have a load in either your truck bed, or maybe you're hauling a fifth wheel camper, gooseneck trailer, anything like that we might be hauling. Usually it makes the back end of your truck squat down, and that has a couple of adverse effects. It'll bring the front of our truck up, and that kind of messes with the geometry of our front suspension. It makes our steering just not handle quite as well as it should. Our headlights are pointing up a little bit, and it overall just doesn't feel as secure as normal. And then on the back end, it causes a lot of stress and strain on our OEM suspension components. So this is going to bring our factory ride height back up to level, reduces that squat, eliminates it completely, and then it also is going to provide some shock absorption as well, even when we don't have a load on our vehicle. Just by having those springs in place, it creates a cushion there for our frame and axle. It creates a connection point between those two things, so it just cushions our ride, makes everything better as far as handling and overall stability with that heavy load. The nice thing about air springs as well is that you can adjust this not only to bring your vehicle back up to the factory ride height front to back, but you can also do it side to side, since these can be inflated independently. We'll have our air hose here. It has two of those Schrader valves, so you can install those and you can inflate one or the other. So if you've got a in-bed camper, typically kind of wants to lean to one side, you can now bring that one side back up and still have your vehicle nice and level. So it just overall improves our towing experience no matter what we're carrying in our vehicle. This is a custom fit for the 2019 Ram 1500, so whatever you're carrying in your Ram, you'll be able to get it leveled back out. You do have to manually adjust the air pressure with these springs. They come with everything you see here laid out on the table. We'll have our heat shield for the passenger side. You just want to put this on your exhaust, bend those tabs, and then place that in an area where it makes the closest pass by that exhaust. Helps to protect that bag from any damage there. Comes with our hose clamps to go around that exhaust line, and then also a little heat shield sleeve to go on our airline as well, as that gets close to the exhaust. So we shouldn't have to worry about anything getting heat damaged. All the hardware, a couple of fish wires, the hardware for our Schrader valves at the back to get all that attached, and then our connection point for that 1/4 inch airline is right here at the top of our airbags. Might be a little bit hard to get to that whenever you have this installed, so you might have to get a little creative about how to get that in there. But whenever you cut that line, you want to make sure you make it a nice, clean, flush cut. You don't want to use anything like scissors that can kind of crush that line and make it sort of tapered on one end. You want it to be really nice and straight across to eliminate the possibility of any leaks there. So using a razor knife, or you can use a hose cutter. If you don't have a hose cutter and you want to pick one up, you can find those here at etrailer.com. We'll have our 2-ply fabric reinforced bag. At the top of each of those bags, we'll have the It'll caps. Those are going to be a lot stronger than the typical steel caps that you get on other bags, so they're more corrosion resistant since they're just made of that It'll nylon, but still very, very durable. Have our valves there to attach to, and then if you want, you can also pick up a compressor system to go with this. Those are sold separately here at etrailer.com. If you get a single pass, that will connect the two bags together, and so that will mean that you won't have that same adjustability side to side, but you will be able to lift them up front to back. It's just that now they're connected in together. If you get a dual pass system, that keeps that individuality for both bags, so you can adjust them individually. The nice thing about having a compressor is that you can control all that from within your cab, and you don't have to get out and check it every time. You can just make those adjustments from the cab. Again, sold separately. Find them here at etrailer.com. The load leveling capacity for our bags is 5,000 pounds. Now that's not going to increase the overall payload or the weight carrying capacity for your truck. It's just going to be what this can actually handle on their end. But that also helps to extend the life of our OEM suspension components, since now we're spreading out all of that force and all that weight across another component, so we don't have to worry about our shocks going out as quickly. It just makes everything last a little bit longer. The air pressure is adjustable between 5 psi and 100 psi. You want to make sure that there's always a little bit of air in there to work properly. But these actually work out really well for those times whenever you're not going to be hauling heavy loads all the time. These work out great if you're less frequent to regular user of your truck as far as hauling heavy stuff. There's another configuration of the Air Lift LoadLifters that have that internal jounce stop, which is nice if you are using them for pretty much constant hauling, because it provides a little extra cushion. But if you have those times where you don't have anything in your truck, they can cause a rougher ride because they activate those springs a little too much. So that's something to keep in mind. These will work out really well for those times when you won't be having anything in your truck. They still give you that cushion, they still give you the adjustment, but they don't have that rougher ride that you experience sometimes with the internal jounce stop airbags. They come with a lifetime warranty from Air Lift and a 60-day satisfaction guarantee from Air Lift as well. And that's going to do it for our look at the Air Lift LoadLifter 5000 air helper springs for the rear axle.